All right. Here we go. I'm Matt in the Bureau. That is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. Most importantly, you are here, and that means we got a reason to be here. We got a show. Got the whole gang here together on a Monday. It's a Reaction Monday. Now, that said, we don't have lots of sporting events that happened over the weekend to react to. Now, we do have pro baseball, and I'm into it. I'm into it more than I have been in recent years, and I'm not afraid to admit it's because of Jake Mangum. He's up with the Rays. I've been watching all of his at-bats. Okay, and I'm following them. The Rays are good. They're chasing the Yankees. Okay, fine. That happened. But normally we're not coming in here on a Monday to have a big reaction in late June to what the Rays do, or even the Braves for that matter. So that's not it. There are other things to react to. Now, let me give you a heads up also. This is a live radio show. It's the first time on the air for us since we were at Camper Corral on Friday for the big remote as a part of their customer appreciation sale, and that was a lot of fun. I know it was for me, and Bill was there, and he got to eat, and we got to see a bunch of listeners, and Thibodeau and Mrs. Thibodeau showed up, and Grumpy came by, and J-Mac, Jonathan McMillan, and all the folks from Camper Corral. We had a big time, and some guests, Terry and Mandy and others came by. It was all. I mean, I really had a blast at Camper Corral on Friday. And that was the last time I was on the air with you. And here we are again. And in between Friday and today, some things happened that I've got to tell you about. Some things that involve this radio show coming up. But another thing that happened was yesterday at church, I took my iPad with me. I led our Bible study in our Sunday school class, and I used my iPad for some notes that I had made. I stuck it on there. It's a whole lot easier carrying that than it is a computer or something. Well, that has all of the funny, fun, quirky, sometimes entertaining, and sometimes annoying sounds on the soundboard that I'll play on this radio show sometimes. Like a fight song, or the sonic boom, or the laugh track, or the intro when I talk to Beaver. All that stuff's on that iPad. Well, we rode to church in the Homecoming Queen's car. We came home, and I failed to retrieve my iPad. It's still in the Homecoming Queen's car. Okay, and she's doing all kinds of stuff out and about in Tupelo. I don't have it. I can't play a single solitary sound. All I can do is talk and do this. That's it. That's all I can do. So I have everything else I need, though. I've got all these computer screens. I got the Country Pleasing text line right here in front of me, and I can see all of that coming in. I can see your comments on the live stream on YouTube and Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. I got all the equipment. It's all connected me to Beaver at the home Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. I even have hot coffee in my mug from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. And it's actually a new flavor, single origin flavor that they have at their offering now. You can buy it. It's from Uganda. The name of it is Silverback. It comes in a silver packaging and everything. And then it's a brand new single origin flavor from High Point Roasters, and I've been enjoying that. That's what I'm having today. So I got everything else I need, including hot coffee. I just don't have my soundboard. So that's why you will not hear fight songs and musics and little wing dings and whatnots, and you will not hear Beaver's intro today. I wanted to preface. That said, everything else is the same. It's all the same, and I do have an announcement coming up. But first, On the Deviney Equipment phone line, Deviney Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. They are the oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S., in fact. And that means they've been doing it better, longer than anybody else right here at home at Deviney. Number to call is 897-1059. It's a 601 number, 897-1059. The call screen says Debbie on line 1. Debbie, happy Monday. You have the floor.
Matt, it's your mother-in-law.
Hey, I wondered if that was the Debbie that we're talking to. And see, Debbie, if I had my iPad, I would play the applause right now, but I'm having to actually applaud, which may be even better. How you doing?
Okay. I wanted to be your first caller for the day. Am I?
You are, yeah. You're absolutely the first. You may, I mean, we just started the show, but you never know. You may be the only one we have today. You just never know.
12:04, so I'm right on time. Today is Reaction Monday.
It is.
The only thing I have a reaction to on this Monday is the brisket Twinkies from Country Pleasing brand that you put on Facebook yesterday. I have to have some.
You got to have some. The brisket Twinkies. What do you think about the name? When I was talking to Aaron down there at Country Pleasing and Country Meat Packers, when he first said it, we were on the phone. I said, hey, did you say brisket Twinkies? He said, no. He said, we had to country it up, so it's brisket Twinkies. What do you think?
Well, when your father-in-law saw the picture and heard the name, he said, did you say Twinkie? I said, nope. Matt says Twinkie. So I'm just telling you, I'm going to need some of those.
All right.
So I'm going to need you to help me out
Okay,
there.
yeah, we can do it. And the beach trip, you know, the family beach trip is coming up. And normally we don't take the route from Tupelo that takes us through Florence. We go a different way, but we may have to go that route on purpose this time just to make that trip.
We might could do that. I'll have to talk to your father-in-law. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you I'm proud that you're my son-in-law, and happy Monday, and I got to have some of that. I got to have some of that.
All right. Well, you got it then. Okay.
All right.
All
right. See ya.
See ya. That's Ma-in-law. First caller of the day here on a Monday. Like I said, Beeve, you never know. We may get to the end of the show. She might be the only caller. I mean, some days it's like, hey, Beeve, happy Monday to you, sir. How you doing?
I'm all right, Matt Wyatt.
Listen, when you answered the phone, how quickly, because she's called before, how quickly did you know that it was my mother-in-law?
Oh, when she said, hey, this is Debbie Freeman, Matt's mother-in-law. That's when I knew. That's
when you knew. I'm sorry that I don't have your music, Beaver. Are you okay with it for a day? Handle that for a day?
Yeah, I somehow I'll get by.
All right. So, I don't want you to feel like Lurch from the Addams Family, like we have to ring a bell to get your attention. I mean, it's really just for effect on the radio is all it is. All right. I have to ask you, though, Beav, I hadn't talked to you since Friday. In fact, I tried to call you Friday not long after the remote ended, but I think what was happening was Bill was already back to the radio station, and you were already either eating or about to eat some of the goodies that had been brought back to you. So, what was your reaction to the food that came back to you on Friday from the remote?
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. What? Look. Okay, you had the sausage. That's always,
yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. It's always going to be good. But other items I had never had, whatever they stuffed that mushroom with, that was awesome. I'm trying to stop short of using your favorite word, amazing. It was so good.
Okay. I need to know because Bill had the same reaction, and that was one of the items I didn't get to eat. You know, I was kind of sort of busy, but I didn't eat the stuffed mushroom. I've had them before, but he ate one immediately. He goes, man, I'm not even sure what that is that they're stuffing that mushroom with. I need to find out. So the mushroom was A1. What else?
Okay, so this pork pinwheel.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of spice in it, but delicious. And let's get to that Twinkie.
All right. What'd you think?
When you first, because you had told me Tuesday, you kept me in the dark. You said they got a brand new item.
Yeah.
But you made me wait until Friday live to find out what is this new mystery item.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was awesome. And here's the thing, Matt Wyatt, I'm not a jalapeno fan because the jalapeno I normally am familiar with, it has the seeds in it, which makes it hot. So
Yeah,
I'm always leery about those. But they had taken all the seeds out. So it wasn't hot. It was just a nice component to this.
Yeah.
It was lishy.
Yeah. See, I had one of those too. And like I say, I had heard about it. And Aaron told me the name initially. I had forgotten it. And I had to text him back and say, hey, what was that name again? Brisket Twinkie. Okay, which is kind of a giveaway. There's some brisket in there. But when I first saw the items that Thomas and them had there at Camper Corral to put on the grill, I saw the green wrapped in bacon, but I was just doing a quick scan. And I didn't know like if they had green beans wrapped in bacon. I just saw green wrapped in bacon. I didn't know that that's what it was. And yeah, upon further investigation, you look a little closer. Okay. Let me, two things. First of all, Beaver, to Thomas and those guys, great job cooking it. You know, that's the thing about it too. You got something that it's pepper, it's brisket, the slow smoked brisket, it's cream cheese in there, it's wrapped in bacon. So you got a lot of different things you're trying to manage. Man, they had it cooked perfectly. And I didn't even ask them exactly. I'm assuming they just sat it on the grill with everything else and watched it, you know. But yeah, it was cooked perfectly. And the first bite I took of it, Terry Fant was the same way. The first bite we took, we were like, good gracious alive. And then we started wondering how Aaron and them at Country Meat Packers, how they came up with that. But I mean, it's absolutely worth the trip to go get those things. And that brisket is not some ordinary brisket that's in there also. Okay, hey, what about the bag of goodies from Grumpy? What'd you get there?
Oh, Grumpy. Look, Grumpy brought a package, and it was all desserts, and it was all from Primo's. But this wasn't just your standard, because Grumpy's brought me, you know, Primo's deliveries a few times before. But this man went above and beyond himself this time. Let me tell you what was in this package. There was a slice of chocolate cake, a slice of German chocolate cake, a gingerbread man, a chocolate chip cookie.
Come on.
And a sugar cookie.
Good gracious alive. You know, and again, not to mention in a big paper sack with your name written on it said "For Beaver!" And then he had it stapled shut so that we couldn't even peek. Well, so official thanks to Grumpy. That was great. Well, anyway, I'm glad that it worked out. And we were getting ready to leave, you know, we're up there and I was headed back to Tupelo and Bill said, hey, I'll take this to Beav. I'm headed right back down there. You don't have to go. I said, Bill, you promise it's going to get to Beaver? I promise. So I think he came straight to you and delivered it. I think he did. You didn't have anybody else at the radio station sort of jealous of you, did you? As far as you know?
Oh, I took it back to the office / production area
Attaboy.
Immediately. I didn't let anybody else see it because then they would have been.
Yeah.
Hey, what you got there? What you got in the bag?
That's it. What's that smell? What's Beaver doing? Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff. Okay. So that's the thing. I mean, Friday seems like a long time ago, but that's the biggest thing we're reacting to. And I'm telling you, you know, the pictures of it look good enough. I told you, my mother-in-law saw it and she was like, hey, this trip we're going to make in a couple of weeks, we need some of that. We're going to need those. So we will definitely head to Country Meat Packers and stock up. And again, brisket Twinkies. hats off on the name on that also. Good job. Good job, everybody. All right, look, you can be a part of the show here today. Text me, call me. Here's the text number if you want to text the show on the Country Pleasing text line. It is 885-3776, 601 number, 885-3776. And that'll get you in here. Dog Tired in Florence, he texted me, and it was linked to a video. It shows a game where Jake Mangum had 4 hits in the game. That was against the Pirates a while. Well, that was right after, not too long after he got called up. You know, and he had a 10, 11-game hit streak here recently. It came to an end after I talked about it on the radio, and now he's off and running on another hit streak. He's got, I don't know, a couple games, 3, 4 games in a row, something like that, and they just won a series against the Orioles. They dropped 1 game, and I think won 2 or 3. Didn't pick up a ton of ground on the Yankees. Both of those teams are playing today. So I think it's back to 1.5. Let me check it. You like me, Dog Tired? All of a sudden you, like me, I'm posing as a Tampa Bay Rays fan because Jake's on the team? Yeah, it's back to 1.5 games. Yankees have a 1.5 game lead over Tampa. Tampa's at 47-37. Yankees are 48-35, and we're, still really early. We're not to the All-Star break yet and all that kind of stuff, but they'll play today. Rays are back home for like 3 games here this week, hosting Brent Rooker and the A's. Yankees are on the road in Toronto, so that's a division deal. Could swing it because Toronto, I think, is only 3 games back of the Yankees, so that would put them 1.5 games back at Tampa. So it's real tight at the top of the AL East. And so, those of us, again, who are posing, me and Dog Tired, posing as Rays fans because of Jake, we're following all that. I am. All right, what's this? Rotor Wash is sending me pictures. He's at a candy store, Baytown Wharf in Destin, Florida. And in this candy store, look what he found, Beef. They are called Strawberry Delights, and they're in that little foil package we talked about, red and green. It's that little piece of candy that has been around for 45 years. And you would always eat one at Grandmama's house, and you didn't know where it came from. But he's found them at Baytown Wharf in Destin. It's a candy store. All right, Jason out in Flagstaff, Arizona, says, Matt Wyatt, did you see the thing that I sent you on Twitter where a guy up north caught a 6-pound bluegill? Dude looked like one of real seas crappie. I did see it, and I'm just being honest with you, Jason. I've put my foot in my mouth before on live radio by not accusing, but even just raising the idea that the possibility that someone photoshopped something. It happened with Yacht Yacht. Do y'all know who Yacht Yacht is? David Ellis up there in and around Matheson in that area. Yacht Yacht. He's got like millions and millions of people that watch him on YouTube trapping hogs and trapping beavers and otters out of people's ponds and stuff. He is something now. I like that guy. He's got millions of like followers and views and stuff on social media. All just being a redneck catching hogs. Wow. Oh, he's great. Okay, and he came on to the Mississippi Outdoors podcast last year. And I was excited to have him on there. My dad's a big fan of his content. He used to watch it on YouTube. And he told me during the interview that one time he killed a big deer that he'd been hunting for 2 or 3 years. He finally saw him. He killed a big deer. This huge, like, lifetime trophy type of deer. This was years ago. This is 12, 13 years ago. Puts a video or the photo out there on Facebook or something. I wound up talking about it on the radio on the previous show that I did. And I said, it's a great picture, but honestly, it looks Photoshopped to me. And he said his buddy called him and said, hey, Matt White's talking about you on your deer on the radio. And David said, he was like, really? What'd he say? Buddy said it looked Photoshopped. So foot in my mouth, and I'm sitting there with him as first I'd heard that story. And I know that there's that possibility again. But I saw that picture and I'm thinking, you know how it is, Jason, because it's just so big. you're thinking, I'm skeptical. Maybe it's Photoshop. I can't confirm nor deny, but I did see it. I absolutely did see it. White Denzel, I got some news for you, Denzel. It's funny, like things just start happening. I told you I went through Union, Mississippi. It was the first time I'd ever been through there the other day. Went right through Union, Mississippi. Guess what else has happened over the weekend, Denzel? This is some of that news, things that happened over the weekend that I told you would involve this radio show. This happened over the weekend. It is written in stone. It's going to happen. Next Tuesday, July the 8th, this radio show will broadcast live 12 to 2 from the Junction. That's right. The Junction off of Sowell Road up there on exit 114 off I-55. It's the big Chevron station there. It's the Junction Deli off Sowell Road in Gluckstadt/Canton. Next Tuesday, July the 8th from 12 to 2, and you know who's going to be there. That's right. The Godfather, Mr. Prince himself, the Prince of Neshoba County, is going to be there live and in person for this radio show at the Junction off Sowell Road next Tuesday the 8th. Put it on the calendar and come see us. All right, just getting started with y'all here on this Monday. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. Y'all stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here in the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it.
I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi, started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. Back with you, I'm Matt. Hey, here's Sven over in Berlin, Germany. Sven said, Hail State, everyone. This is on YouTube, by the way, on the YouTube live stream. He says, Hail State, everyone. Well, he says, Ace Reese not in the portal. He says, we have to sit it out until tomorrow at midnight. What does that mean? All right. I'm not familiar with the calendar stuff, but what is that? What are you saying, Sven? I take it as, if I'm reading your comment correctly, that tomorrow night, midnight is the deadline? What, July 1st, midnight? And if you're not in it, then it means he's not going to go somewhere? I thought he said he was coming back to play at State. Okay, so that's right. July 1st, midnight. But that's what I was saying, Sven. Did I dream that up? It seemed like back right after O'Connor was hired at State, I thought I saw someone said that Ace Reese said he was going to come back. Sven is saying that LSU wants him. Well, I bet they do. I bet they do. I bet everybody wants him. I bet they do. I guess, LSU wants him. I guess you could say, LSU hadn't won all them championships by being stupid. They'd be stupid if they didn't want him. Sven had a question for Beaver. He said, Beaver, how can you have German chocolate cake in Mississippi? Well, I tell you this. I did exercise a little willpower last night regarding cake. I told y'all may remember me, and I was talking about with Beaver, that certain brand of coconut cream pie I came by recently. My mother and father-in-law my mother-in-law who was on the phone earlier, they had gotten it from a grocery store, Brooks, up in 𝐌𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐢 up there at Pickwick. I got some of it, went and bought myself one, ate the whole thing myself. And what happened was, I kind of had one of those weeks where I just threw caution to the wind. I stopped using any discipline, just ate whatever I wanted. And then I was like, dadgum, I think my belt's getting tight again. So I got to go on one of these month-long cutbacks. And I decided I was going to start it. And last night I was at Brooks in Tupelo. I was walking down the aisle there looking for some ice cream. Not for me. It was some ice cream Mary Liddy wanted. We were looking for it, and I turned my head and looked in the freezer section, and there was that Craven coconut cream pie. It was so tempting to buy it. I didn't buy it. Not that it's not good, not that I didn't want it. It's just that I ate a whole 1.5 last week. So I was proud of myself for having a little discipline. All right, over to the phone line, the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. Brando on line 1. What's up, Brando?
Yo, what's up, Matt?
Hey, man.
Hey, I wanted to invite you. I don't know if Beav did. Beav and I are going camping for the 4th and the 5th, Friday night and Saturday night. You're welcome to come out. There will be fireworks, some eats.
Okay.
So you're more than welcome.
Hey, did you say you're camping?
Yeah, camping at Yogi Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, Saturday night. There'll be ice cream, hot dog.
All right. Sounds good. What else? You gonna have you gonna have a campfire?
Yeah, he wants me to do all of that just because I've shaved my head. The last time he had caught his hair on fire, I put some hairspray or something.
All right. Makes
hey, real
total
quick,
sense.
Matt, what scenario do you see with New York fans being as finicky as they are? What scenario do you see Dart going in behind Russell Wilson and actually getting into a game?
Oh, yeah, he's going to.
And I'll let you go, man. Have a good day.
You too, Brando. Have a good one. Well, I'll tell you what I think is, he'll play this year, at some point. It's one of those where, I guess Wilson has never really had serious injury in his career, and I'm not saying anybody's wishing that at all. But Dart, I just think he's good. I think it's a deal where, he gets on the field, it'll be hard to get him off. And preseason stuff is going to be important for him too. When you're that kind of pick and there's a little, it's not, Russell Wilson, he's got a Super Bowl and he's a long-time vet, but it's not like you have a New York Giants fan base. It's just resigned to the idea that Russell Wilson is their quarterback. That's kind of not how they are. So for Dart, you play well in the preseason, show a flash or two. It's only going to take, a bad game or two from Wilson, a sprained ankle, a broken finger, you know what I mean? Concussion, and Dart's in there, and then they won't get him out. He's going to be their quarterback. They know it. They picked him there. They know it. He's going to be their quarterback. And I feel pretty strongly about that. That's just my, it's my evaluation of it too. But I also think that long term, I think Dart's the kind of guy who, he plays for somebody for a long time in the NFL. And you're going to look up 10 years from now, and he's still going to be playing. And most of these other guys that, including some of the QBs, picked around him and ahead of him, they're going to be long gone. And 10 years from now, Dart's still going to be playing. And that's what I think. So now we wait. But I will say this too, Brando. It makes, with guys like that, in some of these plays, it makes the preseason a little more fun to watch. You get one less preseason game, but it does make them a little more fun to pay attention to because you have some of those guys in it, or a guy in it from a local school. Sven weighs in on that. He said the Giants have low expectations despite the fact that they had the best draft of them all. Abdul Carter, Scattaboo, Dart. Scattaboo, man. He's something. There's your understatement of the day. He is something. He really is. Jason in Flagstaff says, how dare you even hint at me sending you a Photoshop? He said, I do my own research. I'm not saying that it is Photoshop. I'm saying a 6-pound bluegill looks Photoshop. Jason, there's no way not to wonder that when you first look at it. That's just what I did. Denzel, I did see your text earlier. Rest in peace to actor Richard Hurst, who was Cletus Hogg on the Dukes of Hazzard back in the day. Passed away last week. Cletus. Did see that. Sad. Hey, and did you see that thing, that stunt somebody pulled up in Kentucky this weekend? They had like a downtown street roped off and had a ramp. There's an intersection with a fountain or something down there, and they had it roped off and had a ramp on one side of it. And somebody in a replica General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard went down the street and hit that ramp and jumped over the fountain. For what? I don't know. Let's see. Denzel texts, and he said had our summer home Bible study last night. We are on week 2. I brought 4 packs of Country Pleasing, and they were original, 3 cheese, pepper jack and green onion, and then crawfish and pork. And he said he did not have a single piece of it left. He said, I'd say they were a success. I'm curious, Denzel, did you have anybody there who that was the first time for them to get a hold of the crawfish and pork from Country Pleasing? And if it was, their first time, what was the reaction? I'm curious what that is. I've told you, it's really good. I've just eaten it, but I think it would be also great to put in things. Hey, Grumpy texts the show. Grumpy, by the way, we talked about you earlier. Huge thanks to you for the gift for Beaver for last week. He was telling me all about it. And it was great to meet you face to face. Really appreciate you coming by. Friday at Camper Corral. Grumpy said, Matt, Grumpy really enjoyed re-meeting you Friday. He said it was fun, but Grumpy did not get enough Country Pleasing. He's in the parking lot at Walmart right now. Yep, going in for Country Pleasing. He says Grumpy is in town next Tuesday. He'll make an appearance at the Junction. Keep your fingers crossed about Ace. Signed, Hale State. Yep, I guess you got to wait it out another day, according to Sven. His phone's ringing, I guarantee you. Yeah, so not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, July 8th, live from the Junction. It's the Chevron station. It's also the Junction Deli up there off Sowell Road, exit 114 off I-55 up in Canton, right next to Gluckstadt, but it's in Canton. And we'll be there live for the radio show next Tuesday, the 8th. And my man Philip Prince, he said he'll be there. I think he's good for his good. I think his word is good. Dog Tired said, do you think smaller guys seem to be more durable? Dart, a little bit of a smaller guy. Maybe. I think it really, as much as anything else, is kind of how you're built. You got to be a thick, strong dude to take that beating and hang in there year after year. Hey, and thanks for the picture of the fish. I don't know who that is, but you're right. I can tell it's not Photoshop. That's a good 6-7 pounder at least, right? Somewhere in there, probably 6. It was cooler weather when that was caught, but I like seeing those fish pics. All right, rolling along. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country Pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to Country Pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. It's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. You get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics,
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. In the Bureau, that is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Farm Bureau Insurance Studio will be mobile next Tuesday, July the 8th. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, July the 8th, is old Uncle Bill, Cowboy Bill. He'll pack up the studio, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. It'll be the mobile studio, and he'll set it back up at the Junction Deli. It's the Chevron in the Junction Deli up there off of Sowell Road, exit 114 on I-55, Canton. It's just north of Gluckstadt. We'll be there for the show from 12 to 2 at the Junction. The Junction, by the way, serves country-pleasing sausage. You can get a country-pleasing sausage dog at the Junction Deli, Sowell Road. And so if nothing else happens, if we do have a game of horse up there and Philip's son, the Hulk, beats me, I don't care. I'm still going to get to have a country-pleasing sausage dog. So I'm the winner. I'm the winner. My athlete days are over. I don't have to worry about it. All right. Hey, wait just a minute. Beaver, are you telling me that Wonder Bread is coming out with like snacks like Little Debbie?
Yeah. Yeah, Wonder Bread is trying to get into the snack cake game, trying to occupy the LD space.
Snack cake, like what kind of snack cake? I didn't have time I saw the thing, but I didn't watch the whole video. What kind of snack cakes?
Okay, what are they putting out? Honey buns, iced honey buns, those little cinnamon pinwheels.
Okay.
The little miniature chocolate frosted and white powdered donuts.
Oh.
and there was something else, but they're trying. Yeah, it's all stuff that. Oh, cupcakes, little cupcakes.
You know, it makes you wonder. Okay, a company like Wonder Bread, how are they going to wedge their stuff, their sweet treats that are very Little Debbie-esque, even based on your basic description, Beaver? How are they going to wedge those into the already existing snack cake market?
Well, that's a good question, because not only is Little Debbie, but this is all stuff that Hostess has been doing for years too.
Right.
So you're third place.
That's what
You're starting in third.
Exactly. Makes you wonder what they're thinking. Were they not selling enough bread? Beav, you want to go black helicopter conspiracy theory here for just a second?
Sure.
Follow me down this path. Just see how crazy maybe we can be here, but think about something. So there's a new sheriff in town in the United States of America regarding making the country healthy again, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's all kinds of different, food and beverage companies out there that have been putting all kinds of stuff, in their products. Okay. And frankly, Beaver, some of your just regular old store-bought loaf bread, there's a lot of discussion out there about some of the things, it's presented as bread, but some of the things that are in it that keep it from going bad. Like you can have a loaf of bread sitting on the counter for a month and it ain't moldy. Well, we know that's not the way things happen naturally, correct? Correct? Correct. And I'm just wondering if the FDA were putting the squeeze on some company out there that maybe didn't have the best ingredients in their quote unquote bread. But if you sell and market other things that are in a whole different category and they're just basically it's tasty, sweet treats, the regulations are different. And so maybe without taking a huge hit, you can just shift over to making other stuff as opposed to regular old loaf bread. Okay, I'm backing off. I'm just saying that basically I just wrote a movie script, Beaver. I don't have any idea that any of that is reality whatsoever. I have no earthly idea if any of that's reality at all. In fact, Beaver, it sounds more like something Dale would come up with on King of the Hill.
Dale, which we're getting closer
Yeah.
to the return of the King of the Hill, but anyway, so you're thinking Wonder. They're trying to get out of the bread game.
Getting out of the bread game.
And they're already missing a golden opportunity, I think, as far as just a name, as far as marketing. Name something, one of these Wonder cakes.
I see what you're saying.
Come out one if you're going to get into the snack cake, use Wonder cakes on these things. At least it sounds.
Oh yeah,
it sounds like something that might be good.
Hey,
just in marketing terms.
Maybe they know something we don't, Beav. Here's another conspiracy theory. We got this new Superman movie coming out, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe they've caught wind that right after Superman hits, we're going to get another Wonder Woman movie. More products marketed to a younger audience that you can stick Wonder Woman on your Wonder cakes. See where I'm going, Beav?
I see it.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. I'm just because I think I just wasted 5 to 6 minutes of everyone's time, including yours, Beaver. I think I wasted your time. Let me get back to the country pleasing text line. Rotor Wash said you were talking last week about urban animals. I saw a whitetail in Jackson Prep's parking lot this morning. I'm really not that surprised, Rotor Wash, but that is cool. He saw a white-tailed deer in the Jackson Prep parking lot this morning. You know, like, I don't know how, it's not too terribly long ago, over there behind Smith Wills, people were spotting this giant buck. It's like a 10-point walking around out around Smith Wills Stadium. Not surprised. Paramount Outdoor Living Texas show says, I'm thinking that you rubbing shoulders with Jonathan McMillan Friday got you wanting to get on this diet. Yeah, maybe so. You know, I saw he's beefed up. You know, it's obvious that he's been lifting with his upper body, and he's all beefed up. His T-shirt was too tight for him. He used to be a small medium, and now it really is medium. He needs a large. Y'all tell him I said that. Denzel said that it was everybody's first time having crawfish and pork, and he said they were going to go to Piggly Wiggly to ask him to order some. They loved it. I knew they would. It's fantastic. J-Rock texted and said Ace announced on social media about 3 weeks ago that he was returning to Mississippi State for his junior season, but I guess that was before the big boys started opening their checkbook, and we're going to have to wait it out. Louvier texts the show and says, not sure what you guys are talking about today, but I just got in my older car to keep it from getting jealous of the new one, and the AC didn't want to turn on. Oh, no. He said, so I said a prayer, and within 30 seconds or so, it started blowing cold. He says, the power of prayer is unlimited. Signed, Amen, from Louvier. Yeah, you're exactly right, Louvier, and it's not a joke. Listen, you can call it coincidence all you want, but I know this for a fact. It happened Friday. Bill set up for the radio show, and he plugged everything in, and no matter what he tried, that machine that he hooked up down there at Camper Corral, he couldn't get the radio machine to connect to Beaver at the radio station. It just wouldn't do it. And I was thinking, I hate this if we're, on location somewhere, but I may just have to use my phone because I can't get this to connect. And I mean, there was like 5 minutes maybe to the start of the radio show. Bill was scrambling, trying to figure out what he was going to do. And I was talking to Terry Fan on the phone about he was coming up and what we were going to talk about. And I told him, I had mentioned to him, I said, Bill's having trouble getting it connected. And on the phone, Terry said, all right, I'm going to pray real quick. I said, okay. So over the phone, Terry prayed for us and for the show and for everybody listening and for safe travel and all that. And he said, he asked the Lord to help Bill with whatever he was facing in that connection. And I'm not kidding you. I said, thanks, Terry. He said, amen. I said, thanks, Terry. See you in a bit. He said, see you. We hung up. Click. As soon as we hung up, Bill went, hey, there it goes. Look at there, the light's on. And I mean, bam. So you can call it coincidence all you want to, but I'm saying the Lord is just as involved in the little things and the little details as he is in the big things and the big details. That's what I think. All right. Is that it for, hour one's over? These free-for-all shows go by quick. Hour two coming up. Stick around.
At Davini, we are your hometown Kubota dealer.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff. I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West. You can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity to come up to a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community. And what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade. And what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com, at a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
For your complimentary bottle of 𝐁𝐿𝐬𝐬𝐢 Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of 𝐁𝐿𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 absolutely free. Text BEAT to 42424. That's BEAT to 42424. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Making an Impact, sponsored by Grainger. Ashley Crossan has just been named 2025 National Teacher of the Year for her impact on students. Who does she give the credit for this honor?
The kids are amazing. Like I don't have to do much because they come in, they show up, and they make the job easy.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers professional-grade supplies and solutions, made for every industry and backed by product experts. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
We are good to go.
With more of the Matt Wyatt Show coming to you direct and live at the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 105.9.com.
All right. Back with you. Hour number 2 of the show has begun. Staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Check them out at cspire.com. I won't say who, but somebody was texting me on my handy dandy iPhone from C Spire. And we're going to do an interview, and the discussion on their content, it's somebody else's, not this show, not an interview on this show, but it's being interviewed by someone else. The discussion is going to be a story about Blake Shapen, and the theme of that story is, where his confidence is, kind of what he went through last year, the injury stuff. Then another guy, last year, Van Buren, takes over after his injury, seemed to do pretty well. Then he transfers. Then you're like the incumbent, and kind of what all that might be like of the whole in and out from a quarterback perspective. And I guess they want to talk to me because, one, I'm here and I do the state games. So I got to see Blake play last year, but also I kind of went through that too. Not the injury thing, but the in and out thing. So I'll look forward to talking about that. And I do think there's probably, I would think there's probably a little bit of angst. Blake seems like a great kid, and I know he can really throw the football. A kid can really spin it. But, man, it's just like every year some injury, something pops up that sort of has interrupted his career just about at every turn. So I would really hope for him that he could have a year injury-free. That's what you would hope. That's what anybody would. I think it's what's best for State's football team is if this older veteran quarterback could have an injury-free year so that he plays in all the games, plays in a majority of the games, and he's able to throw it around, and then you allow Taylor, this up-and-coming, kid with an unbelievable ceiling, to develop slowly and not necessarily have to get thrown to the wolves his first year in college. Not that he couldn't handle it, but you just wouldn't want to do that if you didn't have to. So for everybody and for the team and everybody, it'd be great. It's best if Blake could stay upright and play all year. And I'm sure that, you have enough injuries. That's one thing I can't identify with, from an athlete. I didn't have a ton of injuries. And I would just think that for anybody, you have enough. That's probably a tough mental thing to work through there. And so what I wonder for Shapen going into this year, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I just got that text a minute ago, so I'm sort of vamping here with y'all on the radio, thinking out loud. We'll have plenty of time to get into these discussions as we get closer and closer to football. But I'll just leave it at this. I know last year, watching Blake, I love watching him throw the ball. I love watching him throw a deep ball. He can really spin it. But then there were these times, and you knew the whole time that there was this injury history, and there were these times where he'd take off, coverage drops or rush splits, your protection splits it, and there's all this green in front of you, and he would take off. And he is a good athlete, he is. He's a good athlete. He runs well. And he would take off, and, man, he just barrels into things head first. It was almost like watching Woody Marks run the football. Woody hadn't ever avoided any contact. And there were times you think, you're not a coward if you make a miss. if you don't let them get a shot on you. But Blake would take off and he'd run. He'd go make that 5 yards straight ahead, and here they collapse on him, and he just goes barreling in there head first, gets horizontal to the ground, goes in, ball cap first, and banged around and hit, spun around, and eventually, driven into the ground, and now you got a shoulder injury. And I just remember thinking, at some point, you got to have a guy like that to stop it, to just stop doing that. Instead of trying to get the 8 yards out of this run and trying to take on some contact and go through some contact, just make the 4 yards and live with it. And there's a slide at the end, okay? Because you're actually protecting everybody, including the team, by protecting yourself a little bit. You can't do that anymore. And I don't know what that's like to try to work that out of somebody's head who does that naturally, because myself all those years ago, I do that. I didn't do that. So I can't really identify. I don't know what that feels like to try to work that out of your head, right? Some natural tendency to tuck the ball and go be a running back. And if you have that natural tendency, how do you get rid of that? And the other thing is chunking it out of bounds when things break down. If you've never done that, okay, the style of offense is this, the all iterations of spread, right? I mean, that's RPO offenses are growths off of spread stuff, which relies on quarterbacks who can hurt you running the ball and all that kind of stuff. You've always played it. You've always come up that way, okay? So the move on the breakdown is extend the play. You're only throwing it up there into the band as a throwaway late in a play. You're never doing it from the pocket, right? Because, you want that high completion percentage, right? If I tuck it and make 4 yards on a run, there's no incompletion going on my stats. I'm completing 68%. Whereas if one of your things to protect you, from injury in your last year of college eligibility, if one of the things you do is there's a breakdown and I just throw it to the cheerleaders, we line back up, it ain't there. Well, that's more incompletions. My completion percentage suffers. You see what I'm saying? So those are all thoughts that I'm having for him, thinking whatever it looks like, there's got to be, I think this year, a little bit of a flip of the switch to go, okay, yeah, I can run, and in some situations I'll get what they give me, but I am going to get down. I'm not going in there shoulders first and taking licks. I'm just not doing it. I want to, at least by getting down, I'm going to go the slide route. Sure, we'll go for it more on fourth down. But I'll play the whole year. I got a better chance to play the whole year. There's no guarantee, but I got a better chance to play the whole year playing that way. But the style that you did play, and we saw it again. We kept seeing it in the games last year. His natural tendency, nothing wrong with it. That's what football players do naturally. Breaks down, I tuck it, here I go, I'm a runner. He's a good runner. But physically, your body's not handling that. And so you got to get rid of that. Can't do it. You're not going to do it. If you get a shot in NFL camp somewhere, you're not going to do it there. Go ahead and work on cutting it out now. I think that's my take on all that. So we can get into that down the road. All right, welcome into hour 2. You can be a part of the show. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. 601 number. 885-3776. You can also call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. Number to call, 897-1059. And you can also comment on the live stream. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, just if you comment there, post a comment, I can see it. Like was it Gene? I think what Gene was saying is that Little Debbie put a huge dent in Hostess snack cakes. That's Gene on Facebook. Yeah, JS290. I think that's kind of what I was looking for, the word I was looking for there regarding, the way that Blake would run the ball some is a little bit reckless. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know. And after a guy gets a freak injury, it's easy to say that that's what causes it. But I do know this going forward at this point in his career, like he's just got to cut that part of it out. The thing about it is, though, all these spread and RPO offenses utilize quarterbacks running the ball. Like it's part of the threat a lot of times. It has to be. So I'm not smart enough to figure out how you coach around that or if you coach around it. I guess what I'm saying is from the perspective of the individual, sure, running, whatever, but there's a way to do it and a way not to, maybe. Maybe that's what I'm getting at. Regarding Wonder Bread getting in the snack cake business, Jason out in Flagstaff says, if Wonder's snack products are as soft as their bread, they win. He says, I love Little Debbie and Hostess, but man, their stuff is not easy to chew sometimes. Tony said, maybe RFK will leave sourdough bread on the shelves. Earlier, Paul texted and said, I can see it now. Chunky Wonder Buns. All right. Put that on the package. I like it. Gino texted the show. He says that at Walmart in Canton, you can get the crawfish and pork flavor of Country Pleasing sausage. Look at that picture. All right, so it was Rotor Wash who said we were talking about critters in downtown areas. He saw a white-tailed deer in the Jackson Prep parking lot this morning. And Attorney Reb texted the show with a photo and says, this is my backyard in Eastover. And look at that. Is it really? Come on now. Is this real? Attorney Reb, I'm not accusing this of Photoshop. I just need to know, just confirm it, give me a yes, that I'm not looking at something that's meant to be a joke. Because here in one backyard, somebody's hitting them with a spotlight too, but it's definitely a backyard in a neighborhood. I'm looking at 3 bucks within 5 yards of each other. One is a little smaller, a little younger, but he's over there. He's a nice little 6-point. In the middle is a big, healthy, probably, it looks like from what I'm glancing at here, probably a big, healthy 8-point. And then over on the other side is, I don't know, maybe as big, maybe not as big, a deer with a weird looking but cool looking drop tine on one side. So one side is straight up symmetrical, typical. He'd be a big 8 to 10 point if the other side was the same way, but the other side is a drop tine hanging down one side and sticking out backwards and all that. It's cool looking. Your backyard? How in the world? Well, it's not deer season, I guess. That's cool though. Maybe those deer are smarter than we realize. Hey, y'all go to his house. It's safe over there. Just hang out. Just hang out in here. More Bully texted the show. He says, did you know that Dave Parker was born in Grenada? No, I had no idea. God rest his soul. Hall of Famer Dave Parker, former Pittsburgh Pirate great Hall of Famer. He passed away this past week or this past weekend. Isn't that who we're talking about? The same Dave Parker, More Bully? He was born in Grenada? I didn't know that. Okay. Let's see. Dog Tired likes the name Rotor Wash. We had someone texting. We had Rotor Wash texting, and it was like, "What name do you want?" And he said Rotor Wash. And Dog Tired says, "What would it take for me to meet Rotor Wash? My brother spent 10 years in Afghanistan. I'm in awe of guys that spent time in harm's way." And he said, "Helicopter Rotor Wash is an airship phenomenon. I want to meet him." Well, I don't know that it's a guarantee, but y'all could meet up at our live remote in 1 week. Tuesday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, July the 8th. We're going to do this radio show live, 12 to 2, at the Junction up on Sowell Road, exit 114, just north of Gluckstadt. It's up there in Canton. At the Junction, it's a Chevron station. They have the Junction Deli there. They serve country pleasing. And so some folks from the Junction will be there, including my man Philip Prince. We'll do the show from 12 to 2, eat some good food, maybe even have a country pleasing sausage dog. Y'all come on out. I'd love to see both of you. That's one way. I'm sure there are other ways, but that's one way to get together. And then Jason weighs in, Jason in Flagstaff. He says, RFK needs to make salt great again. I'm tired of my French fries not having any. Jason, I wondered if it was just me. Now, I'm not buying just a whole ton of drive-through French fries, but every now and then, and sometimes I'll be with someone, including my little youngin'. She likes to get French fries. And I'll get one or two, and I'm thinking, they don't have salt on them. Beaver, are you familiar with what Jason is talking about in not having enough salt on your French fries anymore?
It seems like some fast food places have opted to stop using salt.
Yeah.
Wendy's.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Yeah, I think I've noticed that too. I've noticed it as well. Hey, look at there. Look at there. My sweet daughter walked into the studio and brought me my iPad. So, Beaver, if I can get it charged up in mere minutes of what's left of this radio show today, I will be able to re-inject music, sound clips.
That's unfortunate.
The laugh track. Let's see what else. Applause. I'm sorry, Beaver. And
I've joined Annabeth on the applause track. The Snoopy laugh was previously.
Yeah.
Well, no, not previously. It's my most hated.
Okay, Snoopy
every
laugh.
day. But I know she had a problem with the applause track.
She does not like the applause track. So you're with her on that?
Well, not officially. Not officially. But I'm close to getting there.
Not exclusively?
Not exclusively.
I don't feel like, I'm not sitting here saying that I feel like the radio show has to have these different sounds and things in order for it to be, entertaining or fun or be a quality radio show. That's not what I'm saying. Beav, I have to admit to you, it's as much selfish as it is anything else. I enjoy doing it. I mean, talk me off of that stump, okay, if I need to be talked off of it. But let me just say, Beav, here's the hypothetical. If interjecting a few sound clips every now and then in the show puts me in a better mood, and I'm the host, then doesn't it have an overall positive effect? Yes or no?
Positive effect? I don't. Oh, a positive. Well, it's a positive effect if you like it.
Yeah.
You said talk me off that stump. Well, I'm not going to, because despite what I say, despite what Annabeth says, it's not the Beaver show. It's not the Annabeth show. It's the Matt Wyatt show. So Matt Wyatt can play dumb laugh tracks as much as he wants.
Well, but I feel a little sarcasm in here. It's almost as if you're saying, "Hey, Matt, if you want to fail, go ahead. It's on you."
I think you're reading too much into that, sir.
I think I need to ask somebody else. I need to ask Boomhauer.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there and talk about www.wcom, and you got then on there, man. You go click, 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 click. It's real easy.
Thanks, Boomhauer. Hey, and Beaver, again, I'll say it again. Every time I play Boomhauer on this show, there are thousands of people listening who think they are hearing somebody they know on the radio. Because we all know a Boomhauer. At least one. That's the way he talks. It used to be one of them that talks like him used to be the head football coach at Texas A&M University. He's no longer there. One of the biggest heists ever executed by anybody in the history of college sports. Make that 30 for 30. The AD at A&M, Beaver, pays Jimbo Fisher $10 million to go there and stink it up. As soon as the contract is signed, that AD that signed him to it left and went to LSU and left A&M with it. Jimbo Fisher won't ever run out of money. He and Will Muschamp have been paid more money to not coach than anybody else in the history of football. But I digress. Did it. I did it. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity come up to a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community. And what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade. And what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now.
Oh, yeah, Sven. That's right. I didn't finish all the story, did I? Okay. All right, time out. Let's reset. Here's what happened. To take it all the way back, I sort of facetiously was looking for a reason to hit at least one of the buttons on my soundboard on this iPad because I didn't have it in the first hour. I felt sort of naked on the show without it. Got it here. My family delivered my iPad to me so that I could use it here. And I was able to hit the button. And the one I chose was Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there and talk about www.𝐷𝐷𝐶𝐽𝐵𝐦. You got then on there, man, you go click, 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 click. It's real easy.
Real easy. And so, reference Jimbo Fisher, we said, we used to listen. We'd play clips that, no joke, like it was not a stretch to say that this coach, back when he was at A&M, he'd have a press conference, and every now and then he'd get to sounding like Boomhauer. We'd play him side by side. Sounded like Boomhauer. And then that led to the acknowledgement of how crazy that story really is. Okay, so A&M, they hired this AD, right? That AD, who hired Jimbo Fisher. What is that guy's name? He's a little bitty short fella. He's a big talker. What's his name? I don't know his name. But they hired him in A&M as the AD, and he was a big talker. Boy, he shook everybody up. He goes out and hires Jimbo Fisher to be A&M's head football coach. $10 million something, and everybody's going, what? They're paying who? How's that gonna? That's not gonna work. That whole thing. Like everybody with sense. And sure enough, it was just they had a football team, but at no point was it really great. And meanwhile, like Jimbo is just rolling in the dough. All right, so the guy that hired him and locked A&M into that bad deal left A&M to go to LSU, left him hanging. Jimbo's still up there. He goes to LSU. And Scott Woodward. Okay, thanks, Sven. I couldn't remember the name. He goes to LSU. Meanwhile, as you kind of knew it was going to happen, it all starts falling apart at A&M. Coach Fisher just kind of lost it. You remember that whole screaming fit thing he did after, who was it? Saban accused him of they spent like $20-something million for whatever it was to have the number one recruiting class, remember? And so Saban just comes right out and says it. They went and bought it. They just went and bought it. Well, everybody knew they did. It was NIL, quote unquote, right? everybody knows it. No, Saban's just telling it like it is. And Jimbo loses his mind. I mean, you could just tell it was a bad deal from the get-go. Meanwhile, the guy that hired Jimbo, Woodward leaves, goes to LSU. Sven says, Matt, you forgot the rest of that AD story. He went to from A&M to Baton Rouge, hired Brian Kelly for $100 million, and has yet to make the playoffs. I mean, no wonder schools like LSU and the SEC want to expand the playoff. They're like cool with it. And you're like, oh, hold on, Matt, hold on. It wasn't the SEC who initially wanted to expand it. Well, right, okay. Bet you LSU's in favor of it now. I mean, the baseball championship, we're not talking baseball. We're talking football. Guarantee you, Brian Kelly's like, yeah, let's expand it. Go ahead on. 16 ain't enough. Well, anyway, it's just the whole thing. Make that documentary. Yeah, and that guy, that AD, he is a big talker. I mean, if you do a documentary on that and interview him as much as he will allow, man, he's a big talker. Okay, and regarding the French fries with no salt topic earlier from Jason out in Flagstaff, and he said, yes, McDonald's fries with no salt, it's like eating deep fried sponge. And what happened to the salt? Did they not give you those little salt packets, Jason, you can tear open and pour them on your fries yourself? MSU 1980 on the Country Pleasing text line says, and I quote, Matt, I, for one, enjoy the sound clips. There you go. Hey, Dog Tired, this is for you. And I wish you could see this picture that Rotor Wash sent us on the Country Pleasing text line from the cockpit. I mean, I'm assuming that's a helicopter, Rotor Wash. Is that what that is? I mean, you'll have to tell me. I wouldn't know one way or the other, but I'm assuming that's the cockpit of a helicopter. And the message says 10,000 flight hours over many different airframes. No military time. It says, but I fly with several former 160th guys, and those guys are heroes. And says, I just have the honor of sharing a cockpit with them. Signed, Hale State. Man, look at that. Okay, all right, time out. Time out. On this note, I got to have a discussion with Beaver about a movie. Yeah, see, this all feels right. This feels right. Hey, B.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
The new Top Gun movie. Did you tell me that you've seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, B. Neither had I until last week. All right, so I told you, you know how I told you that Mary Liddy was at church camp last week?
Mm-hmm.
So there were a couple of nights where Annabeth and I, we had, options of things to watch. And so one night we were kind of bored. And we like, Mary Liddy's not here. We don't have anything to do. So we pulled up and watched, well, not pulled up, but, rented or whatever you had to do to watch the new Top Gun. Okay, I'm a little disappointed right now that you haven't seen it, so I don't get to have your take on it. I will stop short, Beav, of telling you that I highly recommend it or that you have to watch it or anything like that. I'm not telling you that. I will just say that I'll give you my review without giving away any details of the movie itself, Beaver. I will give you my review of the movie if you want it.
I'll take it.
Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. When the movie started, initially, Beaver, you know how I think I've discussed this with you. It's a little bit of a niche sort of topic for people who are maybe into this sort of thing. So I won't dwell on it and run everybody off. But, you know, we've discussed before sort of nowadays how a lot of movies, how they look, you know, like production companies, the way they're shooting it and color grading it and how it has sort of a look to it that's just not any good, you know, sort of almost universally with a lot of new movies that come out. You know, we've had that discussion. Things are shot and presented aesthetically a lot different now than they were 25, especially 30 years ago, film and stuff. Anyway, there was like this, you know, an opening sequence or two, and I sort of found myself rolling my eyes going, oh, please don't tell me that with this new Top Gun movie, they did what all these other quote unquote Hollywood production companies do, and they really overdo the orange and teal color grade and, you know, shooting everything in log and not bringing the contrast up and just having everything look, I don't know, bad. Well, it wasn't. Like, it was just a quick little sequence. And then, you know, it just got better and better and better. It looked great, sound great. The story was absolutely worthy of my time. It was a good story. And then even, you know, any sort of stunt, special effect, anything that needed to be a part of it, it was like super realistic. So again, I hope I'm not giving too much away, B, but what I would tell you is, for someone like me who's never been inside of a fighter jet and those kinds of things, still you can sit there and look at your screen. Don't you think, Beaver, that as a viewer, you can tell what is and isn't actually realistic? You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
Well, it's realistic. It's just really well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then what was interesting is, like, last Thursday morning, we went to the church to pick up Mary Lady when the bus came rolling back in from camp, and there was lots of other parents there. And I was talking to this one guy about having watched the new Top Gun. Well, he's a pilot. And he said to me, that's what he does for a living. He flies planes. He said, you know what? The original Top Gun is what got me interested initially in being a pilot, was watching that movie. And I was like, oh, cool. What'd you think about this one? So we had this whole discussion about it. But I was as much running down a lot of the you-know-what that comes out of Hollywood these days as I've done. I need to give credit where credit's due. That new Top Gun, I liked it. All right. A little bit of time left with y'all here on this Monday. When we come back, stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. Back with you, I'm Matt in the Bureau. The Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. Blind Squirrel Sports said, loved Top Gun, but my favorite war movie is The Deer Hunter with some dude named Robert De Niro. That's a good one. Blind Squirrel, he's over here watching the YouTube live stream. Rick on Facebook said Tom Cruise owns his own fighter jet and flew those scenes so they were real. Rick said, are you saying that you lift the TV restrictions when the daughter is not home? Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, and I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, and she's 13, but still I'm daddy, and she's Annabeth is mama. And what we're not going to do is take our responsibility that God has given us as parents lightly at all. And, yeah. So when Mary Liddy's not home, we might watch things that we wouldn't watch otherwise. That's true. But when she is home, we're protecting her eyes and her ears. And it's not a bubble, but it's our responsibility. So that's what we're going to do. And I know it's the right thing to do. Period. All right. Over to the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona. What's up, Jason?
Nothing much. You hear me all right?
Loud and clear.
All right. Well, I got two things. Well, I'll start with this. I don't know if it's still there or not, but the National Guard is there in Tupelo and fairly close. Used to have helicopters and tanks.
They do. Yeah.
So I don't know anything about the helicopters, but you could get a tour of the tanks, especially if they have the new upgraded ones, and you'd be shocked how much the inside is like video game.
Wait a minute. A regular citizen can go and get a tour of the tank?
Yeah, they do it all the time. I don't know what Yeah, they usually advertise them.
Man, I didn't know that. I want to go. See, I've ridden by there umpteen times, and every now and then they do the test flights with those helicopters and stuff around here, which is awesome. When they come through here low, it'll rattle your house. But I had no idea I could get a tour. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you should try that. And even if you can't get a private tour, they usually do something once or twice a year.
Okay.
Or they used to anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason I called is about fast food fries and the salt packets.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're lucky, they'll throw a salt packet in there too, and your fries are already cold, and the salt bounces right off of them.
It doesn't stick.
Yeah, so I can tell you're not a fast food connoisseur, so I'll explain this to you. In my personal opinion, if I'm paying $5 for a order of French fries, I would prefer somebody salted as soon as it comes out of the fry grease while it's still hot, and the salt will actually stick there.
Right.
So, no, it's no. So,
hey,
it's just.
Let me just tell you too, Jason. Now, we need to figure out. Maybe we don't even wait for a special occasion, but I need to get you in your hands a bottle of this stuff that they make it. It's homemade little recipe that they've come up with. They bottle it and sell it at Country Meat Packers on Highway 49 in Florence, and it's just simply called French fry seasoning, and it has the look of like a seasoned salt, but there's some other stuff in there. And buddy, you put that on your French fries, you're not going to want regular salt ever again. I need to get you some of this.
I believe you, and I appreciate it. But still, if I'm paying McDonald's $5 for some fries, they better put some salt on it.
I got it. It's the principle of the thing, right? They need that little aluminum salt shaker that is kind of like a mini coffee mug that's got the holes in the top of it. Sprinkle some salt on my fries, you're saying.
Dadgummit. Yes, exactly. I'll hang up the list.
Dadgummit. Thanks, Jason. It's the principle of the matter, y'all. What happened to getting too much salt? Okay, I'm from the 1900s, and I can remember drive-through French fries that had, and I'm going to say it, too much salt. Now we've devolved into a state of receiving, as Jason says, $5 drive-through French fries with too little salt. What is this world coming to? Will comments on YouTube, and he says, don't forget that the AD that gave Jimbo the massive buyout that A&M is still paying for was Ross Bjork, who was previously at Ole Miss, where he hired Hugh Freeze and Matt Luke. And Bjork is now the AD at Ohio State. Okay, so you're telling me that, right, that's right. The initial contract, the initial hiring of Jimbo Fisher, and that contract was massive, was the other guy who went to LSU. But then when he left to go to LSU, they hired Bjork. And sometime in there, he gave Jimbo a contract with a new massive buyout. Man, how was Jimbo Fisher and his agent, how were they demanding that and getting all that? I mean, really? And then based on what? Was it the Florida State program melting down before he left? Is that what did it? The whole couldn't keep up with Clemson. I mean, you say what you want. And no, I mean, I'm not saying that Coach Fisher was a bad football coach. He was a really good football coach for a long time. But I'm saying, how are you demanding that and getting it? And based on what? Because they're at the end at Florida State. You know, they had about a 5-6 year run, the end of his time at Florida State, where every single year, the number one recruiting haul in the ACC was not Clemson. It was Florida State. every year. Yet, when you had to play the ball games, it was Clemson winning everything. And the league and the national championship and in the playoffs every year. Clemson. But, you know, if you believe the gurus, Clemson would have loved to have signed the players that they were signing at Florida State. And then it melts down, right? And, yeah. Let's see. Will says Jimbo had a good 2020 COVID season. What did they do that year? I'd have to go back and look. Man, that thing, like you talk about a blur. Some memory that's just basically not even there. Said he finished 5th in the college football playoff poll that year, 2020. I didn't remember that. Will, you got a better memory than me. But I'm not sure that's saying a whole lot, just because it's better than mine. Okay, yes, the picture that Rotor Wash sent me is what a picture. Several thousand feet, sunset off in the distance over the horizon. It's almost like he's flying over the Louisiana Delta is what it looks like to me, like somewhere down there around Delacroix or something where it's mostly water, but I have no idea that's where that is. And I wondered if it was a helicopter cockpit, and he said, yes, it is an Augusta 139 helicopter. Hey, I was pretty close. An Augusta 139 helicopter flying over the Mississippi River in Venice, Louisiana. That's what I'm saying. That's what it looks like. People go to Venice and like within 100 feet of each other. They catch largemouth bass and redfish and speckled trout and all that kind of stuff, all in the same water down there. It's a wild, neat place, if you ask me. Thanks for sending that. Josh comments on the Country Pleasing text line, says he worked at a restaurant in Starkville. They used a mixture of salt and garlic salt, and it was good. Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I'm talking about sprinkling it on fries. We have a local Mexican food place in Tupelo that, of course, you know, everybody kind of has their own version, I guess, of seasoned salt. They have their own special version of like the seasoned salt stuff. Whew. I got to know them. Talked them into sending me home with some of it one time. Yeah, I break it out for special occasions. It's like Lowry's seasoned salt, but on steroids. Better. How come anytime we want to say something is better, we say it's on steroids? Is everything better on steroids? We'll talk about that and more tomorrow here on the show. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team. Been fun today. Thank y'all. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same place. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here on the show. See you then.